So let me ask you this, Marcus. Here's a real question.
Does it mean it's gonna work? Is what I'm saying. You can teach somebody anything.
Here's a real question. Here's a real question. The reality is, most people will not be over 6 feet. Most people won't be athletes. Most people are just going to be average, right? So the question is at this point, because we try to make, we always deal with the generalities, right? Because this is a specific case, and I know why we're here. But to the people who may want to know, who may not, that's not their reality. Most people's reality has nothing to do with being a basketball player or over 6 feet or hella attractive to women or any of that. What would you advise a person who is your regular guy, your 5'8", 5'9", dad bod, slightly socially awkward dude that is most people, right? How would you tell them to navigate the situation with that? Would you say the same thing? Would you say that, yo, you probably need to experience a bunch of women so you won't get played out? What would your prescription be for the average person? Because that's most people, and that's I kind of want to see what your thoughts are on that. How would you tell them to navigate their relationship life in that situation?
I probably wouldn't tell them. I wouldn't tell them the exact same thing because they're not going to experience the same temptation. My main focal point on why I'm saying it like this.
So Marcus, no, I get that. Two things. You just said two things we already all knew. You said that you're not going to give them the same thing. We know that. And but the one thing we want to know right now is, what would you tell an average Joe, the person we just described? That's all we want to know right now. What would you tell
does he get
them?
women at all?
He's your average guy. He's about to be a starter. You seen him as a teenager. You could guide him through. You his big homie, right? From 13 to 21. What progressive advice would you give this young man on how to navigate in relationships, and how should he conduct himself? Your average person.
So I would need real specifics for this person, but I'll create a blanket person so I can answer this question. Because
5'9", dad bod, slightly socially awkward. He a brother. He's probably he's gonna go to college to be an engineer.
Does he want a family?
Yeah, like most men.
Is he like mature for his age, where you think that
he's average, just in the middle? Any blanks, just put average in it. Because that's what we really want to know. Because that's most people's reality.
Right. But it's so dependent on the person. I can't give a blanket answer like that. Like, I would have to talk to him.
That's why there's a problem.
You say what?
That's why it's a problem, because if you're starting early as he's getting ready to go to college, he's 18 years old, and you're saying that this man is predisposed based off his current metrics, his shape, size, attitude, that he is not going to be subject to the same experience that you would teach the other guy. Is fundamentally illogical, because I would argue that you didn't compensate for the fact that this man might want to get into fitness at some point in his life and actually transform from a dad bod to a bodybuilder or whatever, or level up in some type of way where he's a complete new person, and then he would actually have the experience. So I would argue that the same teachings you would give one, you should give the other. You never know what kind of turn in their life is going to open them up into different experiences that you couldn't foresee. So if you're saying that this guy has a dad bod, he want to be an engineer, 2 years from now, he might run into somebody that's so inspirational that he might change his major. He might realize he got a wicked jump shot from playing fucking pickup. He might go to college and then off to it's so many guys that went to the military and got out of the military and went to go play overseas or play college ball, or some of them even went into the NBA and became great players. You never know what these guys are, the trajectory of where these guys are going to go, which is why you want to teach them the same standard across the board, because you never know if they're actually going to transform or level up to be able to have access to those experiences.
So the only reason why I say it might be a little bit of a problem is because, we just like we was talking about before, we're trying to have it to where it's like solutions based, right? And there's some people who maybe even tune into this so they can get some insight. and their reality looks nothing like sometimes the people we see on these platforms or the videos that JR put up. That's like not your average person. Otherwise, we wouldn't be watching the shit. So your average person is going to want answers and want some insight, and they come to these discussions sometimes for answers. So I think that we should have something in place, and I understand everybody's going to need a specific recipe, but I think there are some things generally that we know we want to talk to people, right? We want to tell people, inform people certain things that would likely work for everyone, right? Or most people, just at least would generally work, because it becomes confusing. And I'm not saying we all have to agree on it, but I think we should have a standard, right? I'm not going to tell nobody what standard that they should or shouldn't have, but I think we should have a standard for what we think might work for people, right? Because I mean, I put a lot into it. I do research. You do too. You be digging in. Pause. You do your thing. You look and you research and all that. We all do. So I think we should have some type of a formula put together for people who want to know, because there are a lot of people who want to be informed. So we should be able to get to anybody and be like, yo, all right, I see. Just like you said, you see what they're doing. But even if you don't, just having the little bit of information, we gave a decent information of a profile of a person. So we should say, okay, well, this is what we need to do with this. This is what we need to do with that. This is what we know works. And then I'm going to have to probably know more to give you further direct you. But we know this works. We know that you need to be hitting the gym 3 times a week. We know that you need to stay in your studies. You know, you need to kind of stay away from females right now. We know you need to watch out for this type of broad right here, because she's probably no damn good, right? We know that people who say these type of things are no good people. Just something that we could
I agree with all
give
that.
them.
I don't got no. I agree with that. I think the problem I'm having right now is I damn near a flashback into that time and place, and I'm only speaking to that. So it's kind of hard for me to view it from like a lot of times I try to put myself in somebody else's shoes when I'm trying to speak to a solution. Right now I'm having difficulty jumping into somebody else's shoes because for whatever reason I'm just having difficulty at this very moment.
So the only one thing I want to say about that part is I think that the biggest problem that we have, platforms, real life, everything, is the lack of perspective. Y'all hear me keep talking about that word perspective so much. I think that we have to try to train ourselves to gain that ability to be able to put yourself in someone's shoes and to feel how they feel, see things as they see things, because it's going to develop our level of understanding for each other. I think it'll give us more patience with each other. It'll make us less offended with each other, and it will allow us to help each other grow a lot more if we take the time to try to just earn that perspective.